Good day to everyone from CashMark.com, because nothing makes me more excited. On today's video game, my review of Helium Mobile. Is it really all it's cracked out to be for $20 a month for unlimited? Is it really as good as influencers say it is? Thank you very so much for joining me. I want to ask you for a quick favor. If you like videos like this where I go over ways where you can save money and make money on your mobile device and other things on the side, please make sure you give this video a like, as we'll get it out in front of more people, and it does help us out with the good old YouTube algorithm. So thank you so much. Now, I decided to give Helium Mobile a try a few months ago. I actually signed up for it through a referral link, so I got my first month for free. Got that from Financial Audit, so thanks to Caleb Hammer there. On the promise that it is $20 a month for unlimited, uses T-Mobile towers, all that good stuff, and mostly because we are focused on saving money and making money here. And I was really wondering, if can you really get everything that you need? Is it really as good as the major carriers for 20 bucks a month? You know, like, there's so many different MVNOs now. You have like which is like essentially like a reseller of service. So Helium Mobile uses T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, you know, the Ryan Reynolds one that uses T-Mobile. There's so many different ones that piggyback off of the major carriers' towers. Like Visible uses Verizon, for instance. So does Cox Mobile, also uses Verizon. But they sell it to you for a cheaper price. So they buy it from the big guys and they sell it back to you. So obviously, it cannot be just as good, because then the business model really wouldn't make any sense. So how is it possible? Like, why would then anybody pay 20 bucks here? You know, why wouldn't everybody just pay 20 bucks here, or 15 bucks a month for a bid with Mint Mobile, instead of paying 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 with the big carriers? Well, that's what I wanted to set out and find out. So to start off with Helium Mobile and most of these MVNOs, your phone needs to be unlocked, because most phones are actually locked to a specific carrier. Because most of the big incentives, like getting a phone completely for free over 24 months or whatever period it is these days. So I think with AT&T's 3 years, those big incentives only come from the big guys. So with a company like Helium Mobile, you need to have either a phone that's paid off, and if your phone is paid off with your carrier like T-Mobile, AT&T, etc., you can actually call them and ask them to unlock your phone for you. If not, then you can just purchase an unlocked phone, which is what I did. So I went on Amazon and I got this little guy right here. This Umidigi G9 5G cell phone, Android 14, so the latest version as of the publishing of this video. I wanted it to at least be fairly decent, so it has 6 gigs of RAM. This expanded RAM thing isn't really, I don't think that's really true, but 6 gigs of RAM in my experience is good enough for an Android device. With still 120 gigabytes of storage. It has a SIM card slot, completely unlocked 90 hertz display, blah 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 blah. So I decided to do it this way because the reality is, if you want to have the full packages and you want to save a lot of money, you want to have an overall lower monthly bill, because you know that when you get these incentives with like T-Mobile or any of these guys, like to get, like, for instance, my personal device is a Galaxy Note, or old habits, S24 Ultra, which I got at the beginning of this year. I traded in my S22 to get it, essentially for about, I think after the trade, and it was like $300, so which I'm paying over 24 months, with the caveat that now I'm stuck with T-Mobile. The reason why I did is because I feel that, at least as a parent, and I do a little hotspot to have a tablet or an iPad / Kindle on at all times if needed, and not at all times, but on. If we're outside to entertain the child or other people, so on and so forth, then I need to have the hotspot is the main thing, which you're not really going to be able to get a good hotspot with anybody else. It's not the big guys, in my experience, as far as speed. So that's why I stick with that. I want to have the fastest phone possible because of, the whole parenting, business, blah, 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 blah. But for most people, I really believe that most people do not need to have an S24 or such device. Like I mentioned, I traded in my S22, which I had used for almost 2 years, and that was actually still working pretty well. All things considered, this is the main reason why I traded in, because the battery was starting to die. So for most people, and this is just a little mini review of this guy right here, no, it's not the best camera, no, it's not the fastest phone, but It worked out pretty dang well. I think for most people, something like this would be good enough. Just like, if you have an iPhone, probably an iPhone 14 will be good enough for most. So anyways, I got this phone. I got Helium Mobile. I signed up for it. It is a little bit of you have to do either an eSIM or a physical SIM. I had to go for a physical SIM when I couldn't get the eSIM to work. It does require a bit of a technical mindset, or I said ability. But they have pretty good chat that can walk you through the setup, which is really good. I really appreciate that. But once you are all up and running, I took the phone around in the northern San Diego area for a few months. I was making calls on the phone. Call quality seemed to be about the same. Honestly, I really couldn't detect much of a difference, which made me think that I don't remember when's the last time I saw a phone ad or a carrier ad on TV or anywhere that's actually talking about drop calls, because that's not really, it's not as prevalent as it is today. Like, unless you're going to be like in a major event, like at a stadium or something, where there's a lot of people and then everyone's trying to go on there at the same time, then you probably aren't going to experience that very much. The big difference comes with data and how quick it is, and that's where I feel like, you feel, or that you are on the lower rung of priority with whichever main carrier you're on, in this case being T-Mobile. So let me show you here. This is a picture of the interface of the app, which is like, it shows right there, $20 a month, unlimited. I got the some crypto here, which is actually it's part of the appeal of it, supposedly, because you actually earn crypto by mapping. So basically every day as you go around, not sure why this doubled here, as you go around, you will earn, or you will map, which will enhance coverage. So that's supposed to help out in the long run for everybody who uses the service. And if you do that, if you enable it, that's optional. You can earn crypto like you see here. So this is essentially about a month and a half's worth of earnings. So in theory, eventually, you could actually pay for this with crypto. So that's pretty cool. But I wouldn't count on it based on the fluctuating value of the crypto. At some point, that value there was about 20% higher now than it is now. So keep that in mind. But I ran a speed test on the Helium mobile device and also on my T-Mobile device. So I did it, and at home, I got a 37.7 Mbps download and 6.75 Mbps upload, 20 millisecond latency. And it says your internet connection is fastest on the internet speed test if you Google it. Whereas with my S24 Ultra, I got 506 down, 12.4 up, 14 millisecond latency. So a lot slower. However, most people do not need that really high speed that I got with the T-Mobile device. They really don't. So this will do fine as long as you are not wanting to download Raid Shadow Legends while you're outside, or AFK Journey, whatever the Honkai Star Rail, whatever the new hotness is these days. If all you want to do as far as data goes when you're outside is Spotify, maybe a YouTube video here and there, or downloading a minor app, or if you're going to do a game you don't mind that's going to take probably a hell of a long time, then there really isn't much of a difference from Helium to a T-Mobile or one of the major carriers. So you're going to feel very, very similar. So the main barriers to entry, in my opinion, is that most people are not aware of what a unlocked phone is, or that there's, what the process is there, because, most of the time, most people get their phones from carrier stores. They do. So it's really, it's a learning curve to get out of that mindset and then be like, oh, well, I can actually just buy one off of Amazon. Or technically, you can buy, if you're really into iPhones, you can actually just buy one off of Apple, and you can buy an unlock one through them straight, with no incentive, and then just start using somebody like Helium, Mint, etc., etc. So I'd say the value is definitely there. I think it's good enough for most people. Like, probably, like, if you can get like an S22 Ultra or like an S23 Fan Edition, or maybe an older Google Pixel, and then pair it with like a carrier like Helium, it's actually a really good way for you to save some money online or on your phone plan. So that's pretty cool. And when you're going online, you can actually click on here and you can check your coverage just to make sure that, let's see, so I'll do that zip code there, just so you know, or just so you can check to make sure that there is coverage available wherever you want to get your phone, because there are a few spots here that are not very well covered. So if you're in there, you want to, refrain from doing so. But That's it. So it says right here, for America's largest 5G network, because it is going on T-Mobile. But just keep in mind that if you're in any busy area, you will suffer the consequences first. You will slow down first because T-Mobile will prioritize their own customers versus somebody else's. But for most circumstances, A-OK for to use the device. I will post a referral link in the description of the video as well, in case you want to support. Like, it's not the same. Like, you don't get a free month from mine, unfortunately. I think you only get like $5, but it's something if you want to give it a shot and support the channel. But I will post it on there. So if you have an unlocked phone, or if you don't mind getting, something like this on Amazon or anywhere, or another store, then it might be a good option for you, and a good way to save money on your monthly bill. But that is it, guys. Thank you very so much for watching. I do appreciate all your support. Go out to play some games, spend some money, see some money, don't get boned. Get boning.